Good afternoon, council members. My name is Shannon. I'm here on behalf of a number of landowners here that signed the protest petition. Now, what I have here today is an appeal to the BZA that I'm filing here with the planning director. Now, I wish to avoid this situation. I tried to avoid it. I tried to work with the city attorney's office, but here we are today. I'm going to make the appeal. Now, if you look at the zoning ordinance, in this regard to 808, a little bit earlier in that section, section 1-400, interpretation of ordinance, A13 says, the headings and titles are catch lines of the several sections of this ordinance printed in boldface type are intended as mere catchwords to indicate the contents of the section and should not be deemed or taken to be titles of such sections. And it goes on about changes to that. So, looking at the 808, ignoring the catchphrase, if you look a little bit further down, you get to subpart D. And again, one of the catchphrases are effect of a protest. But getting to the language, if a protest to a proposed text or map amendment is filed, the city council may not approve the proposed amendment except by an affirmative vote of 3/4 of its members. Now, the protest was filed on Thursday morning in order to give the director enough time. The deadline is usually the Friday before at noon. Since that time, I've been asking to see, and the filing that was submitted on Friday was the same thing, just more signatures. Now, I've continually asked through the city attorney's office, because my communications have to be directed through that office, if we were going to get a determination back. In fact, I waited till yesterday before I tried to file an appeal yesterday, but I'll get to that in a moment here. 15.2, 2311 of the Virginia Code, 9.17 of the City Charter, and 11-1203 of the zoning ordinance allows that for a determination of the director to be appealed to the BZA. I'm submitting that appeal here today. The city offices are closed, however, so the statute, city charter, and ordinance say an appeal is to be filed with the director or the board, and that's referring to the BZA. So just before coming up here to speak, I went ahead and I emailed this petition to the board chairman, Mark Allen, as well as 3 other members of the BZA that I had email addresses for. I also sent a copy to the city attorney. Now, typically I file an appeal at the planning director's office. As I said, yesterday I went down there to file an appeal around 4:50, and when I got there to submit my appeal, the staff asked for a supervisor. The supervisor came out and said, we're not taking the appeal. I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, what does that have to do with? And I was like, the director's decision, the determination. She's like, well, none have been made. I was like, I know, but I want to file the appeal. I was not allowed to file the appeal. I say here, so I said, well, do you want a copy of it? And she said, no. She's like, we're actually closed. I pointed to the clock. I said, we still have 5 more minutes. And she says, no. Well, yes, we're closing. I said, can I have a receipt? She wrote on the appeal, rejected as premature. Now, she never flipped one page of the appeal, never did anything, never looked at it. She didn't even know what the appeal was about in terms of who I represented. It was flatly rejected. It was refused, not rejected, probably refused is a better word. I went back to my office, again, looking at the statute, charter, and the ordinance, and it turns out that you can file it with the director and the board. I consider that an impermissible rejection, so I filed it with Senator Mark Allen and copied the city attorney. The city attorney indicated that his initial review, he thought the rejection was proper. However, the rejection wasn't proper because it wasn't considered. There was no review. It was simply rejected. And to me, I consider that that was a predetermined abuse of discretion in terms of just simply saying no. The decision was made before I ever came in there. Now, under Virginia Code 15.2, 2311, as well as the city charter and 11204, when an appeal has been filed, the city council must stay all proceedings related to that. The text amendment appeal, a text amendment was for 2011-005 should be stayed. All proceedings as of right now, because an appeal is pending before the BZA. I sent it to the members. I have it here for the director. If she chooses to refuse it, that's her choice. But again, because of what happened yesterday, I had no choice but to do it this way. Now, it comes as well, it doesn't come as a surprise in terms of, yes, sir.
Time has expired.
Okay, well, again, I'm going to go ahead and present it, and I request that the city council stay the proceedings in accordance with the code, charter, and the ordinance. Thank you.